It's March, and I've got a busy week ahead with birthdays. I'm really excited because birthdays are one of my favorite ways to show up for my friends. I've been thinking a lot about friendships lately, what being and having a friend means, how to be a friend and make new friends, especially as an adult. It's no longer like the old days where you would just meet someone on the playground and just decide to be best friends. Or is it? As a teen, it felt like there were so many social hierarchies at school and the clique culture wasn't as welcoming. Combining that with a boatload of social anxiety and a quiet nature meant I wasn't much of a social butterfly. I had my group of friends, but I also carried a lot of anxiety about whether I was good enough to be friends with. Was I interesting enough to hang around? Did my friends care about me as much as I cared about them? If I did everything to the benefit of my friend, even if it was to my detriment, would that get them to value me? As an adult, no one has time for friendships. Everyone is busy, whether it's long work hours or mismatched schedules. I simply don't have the time to overthink my friendships or be analytical of my value as a friend. It's nice in a way because I feel like friendships become something more meaningful and fun when you stop caring so much about the social aspects of it. Detachment, or the act of separating yourself from a situation you cannot entirely control, has been so helpful to me in setting boundaries for myself within friendships. It helped me overcome a lot of my people-pleasing tendencies towards the people I love, because to be worthy of love from someone is not to mold yourself into something that they would like. It is so wonderful that we can be loved and cared about while being our authentic selves. My friend's birthday is on Saturday. Theme this year, last year, if you don't know, I made her a Smeesky cake. This year I wanted to do something Snoopy themed, and the MoMA actually just came out recently, I believe, with this Snoopy lamp. So cute, it's so small and perfect to build this cake around. The only issue is that this is a battery object and I don't want that sitting on a cake. I got this little dowel system, which is typically used for stacking layers of cakes. The platform kind of sits just above. I'm gonna put the Snoopy on and I'm gonna like somehow cover the platform. I have like dried rose petals, which I think I will put to help, and also just like add a little bit of decor to the cake. It requires a little bit more thinking, this cake, compared to last year's. I actually made the icing this morning. I made a matcha whipped icing, and so basically the Snoopy is supposed to be sitting on a bed of flowers is the design, and the matcha icing is going to be like the grass, and then the flowers are going to be like flower petals. I've been trying to figure out how to do flowers on cakes, and I just can't figure out a food safe way to do it. If you have any suggestions, please let me know. I would love to hear them. And then I'm making a chocolate cake today to be like the dirt, which isn't a very pleasant thing to think of with cakes, but I just thought it would be a little touch. And also I believe she does like chocolate cake. But anyways, let's get to baking this cake. I've come to realize friendships really are about showing up for one another, and it's something that in a perfect world would be easy. But being there and showing up for our friends is supposed to be inconvenient and require effort. It's an act of care to the people you love. I recently saw a comment on TikTok, and it was something along the lines of, friendship can be an inconvenience, but the price of convenience is loneliness. It stuck with me because I've recently been seeing a lot of conflicting messages on social media around friendships and the relationship you have with yourself and others. Yes, it is important to prioritize yourself and make sure you are surrounded by people who respect and inspire you to be your best self. But we shouldn't hold everyone we meet to unrealistic and unfair expectations because we don't fully know the other person's experience. If they take a while to respond to your text, it doesn't automatically mean that they hate you. If they have to cancel plans one time, it's not fair for us to jump to the assumption that they are flaky. I've been thinking a lot about the way that we show up for each other and all the different ways that we can do that. It can look different across all of the relationships we have and also within certain relationships over time as we get older and life changes. There also isn't necessarily a right way to show up for someone. I think it's more of like a match between what you like to give and what the people around you like to receive and vice versa. For example, someone who likes throwing surprises, like me, wouldn't throw a huge surprise party for their friend who hates being surprised. We can't force ourselves or another person to be inauthentic, but we can work together to see how our interests and differences fit together. If someone doesn't match your energy in a friendship, it doesn't mean you are unlovable. It just means that they probably don't have the capability or emotional bandwidth to meet your needs. What someone does or doesn't do to you is often more of a reflection on themselves and what is going on in their life and their interests versus you being unlovable. And also, never give up hope that there are people who will show up for you. There are literally billions of people on this planet. There's also a larger discussion at play here around relationships with others and how individualist versus community-oriented we should be. I grew up in a Western culture which tends to lean more towards individualism, basically pushing thoughts like you are the only person guaranteed to be there for you in your life, focus on your personal dreams and ambitions, cut people out of your life if they are of no service to you. But also my experience is impacted by my descent from an Eastern culture, where family and community are prioritized. Some of the values include family comes first, you must make your family proud, and lean on your community in times of need. For me, I've found that there are aspects of both that I like and dislike, so I've made an effort to blend the two. With different backgrounds and experiences, we all have varying measures of individualism and collectivism across different areas of life. When can we lean on others? And when can we stand on our own feet? And how can we allow for those to feel balanced? It is definitely important to know how to be okay with being alone at certain times and prioritize self-validation and self-love. And we also need to know how to trust and rely on the right people in life and experience love and support from external sources. It doesn't necessarily have to be an either-or, but it's also not an easy thing to find a balance. It takes a lot of healing and internal work to feel good about yourself. Sometimes we go through experiences that hurt our trust in other people. When we think about our experiences with others, it's important to remember that one bad interaction with someone doesn't mean every future experience with someone new will end badly as well. Obviously, easier said than done, since our minds kind of go into self-defense after we experience something unexpectedly unpleasant. I try to remind myself that that is just my mind trying to protect me. I found that many times I default into worrying about things going wrong. But what if they go right? So how do we make friends as adults? What if I recommend looking back to when we were younger, before the social anxiety started building and before we realized there were politics in school friendships? I do want to say that I know how debilitating social anxiety can be, especially as someone who does more listening than talking in group situations. There were literally points when I couldn't even leave the car to enter public spaces where I feared that other people would be perceiving me. It is possible to overcome that. It can take small, minuscule steps, but I truly believe anyone can get there. Like I've mentioned earlier, I found adult friendships to be a lot easier. The social status and the hierarchies created around friendships in school don't matter in the real world. It is freeing to be yourself in a world that tries to get us all to think in the same way. People carry such unique stories and perspectives with them, which are so interesting to learn about if you take the time to get to know someone. You aren't limited to your age group in terms of who you meet and socialize with. And also the people you meet through your hobbies or volunteering or clubs have no idea who you are. They didn't see you at school going through teenagehood and figuring yourself out at that age. You truly get to be the person you are and the version of yourself that you strive to be. And what helped me above all was realizing that making a friend is not about catering to the other person's interests. It's not all about how the other person sees you, but if you both work well together in a friendship. A few last reminders I would like to leave you with. Friendships do not define your worth, but believing in your worth will bring you the right friendships. It isn't all that serious. Compliment someone, comment on a shared experience, offer a smile. All of those things can go a long way. You are worthy of taking up space in someone's life. If they can't offer you friendship in a way that you need, someone else will and will want to. We don't have access to other people's brains, so there's no use in trying to analyze situations when we don't know the other person's full experience. We can choose to be kind and gracious and still understand our worth. Some friendships will come and go, and that is perfectly okay. And finally, we don't have to be liked by everyone. I'm just under a year of postgrad, so I just know that there is so much more about adult friendships that I have yet to figure out and go through. One final thing I want to add, we are around 2,000 subscribers away from hitting 10K. I am genuinely so excited about this. If you enjoy my content and you haven't subscribed, I would so appreciate if you subscribed. And also, if you have people that you would love to share my content with, I would really appreciate that as well. Thank you so much for watching and for being here, especially if you're here at the end. I really appreciate all of your support, and I will see you very soon.